There are reasons I spent 10 years working at theme parks. Between Busch Gardens, Disney World, and Silver Dollar City, there was a lot that I loved. So, what were the best parts and what kept me working and going back? It's easy to talk about the negatives of working at a theme park. The bad weather, the low pay, some of the other issues you come up with, and you know that going into work at a theme park. There's nobody that goes to work at one that is surprised by the pay, and if they are, they ought to pay attention. But there is a lot of wonderful things about working at the parks. A lot of things that kept me going back. In light of this week's final layoffs at Disney, all those huge announcements, they all kicked in a couple days ago, and many cast members now being out of work. I wanted to kind of honor them a little bit, all the former cast members, because really working at the parks is more than a job. There's so much more that goes into it, and there's so many reasons that you do it besides just the pay. You do it because you love it. Well, why do we love it so much? Well, of course, there's the perks. We love the perks. The perks are wonderful to be able to go into the parks anytime you want. If you're a theme park lover, that's a huge thing. To be able to go and visit the parks, to be able to take your family or your friends, to get those free admissions, to get the discounts in the parks on the food and or merchandise, the special events, the discounts in other places, at Silver Dollar City, being able to go to the shows in town free. The perks are wonderful. I got more perks out of my job at theme parks than I have with any other job I have worked. It really makes up for the pay. I did one video where I talked about the perks at Silver Dollar City, and I figured out I got somewhere between $3,000 to $5,000 worth of theater tickets and other freebies just because I worked at Silver Dollar City. So it can make up for that pay pretty quickly on some of those things. The perks are wonderful, but they aren't necessarily what will keep you working at the job. There are other things that really kept me going. The camaraderie. Honestly, the people that I worked with, I formed great friendships, partially based on, I know it's an inadequate analogy, but like the soldier's mentality, that you're in that battle together, you're sharing those experiences, you're dealing with the same issues and problems. And I know it's not anywhere near the same as a battle. I'm not trying to take anything away from our military forces. Thank you for your service. I really do appreciate it. But you do have those shared experiences, the commonalities that kind of bind you together. They're the ones that you go to when you say, you wouldn't believe this ridiculous guest I just had, or the dumb question I just had, or this incredible, fantastic moment I just had. You're the ones who laugh together, who cry together. So it really does build up a lot of friendships. I've got a couple people from Busch Gardens I'm still in contact with. I've got a number of PhotoPass photographers I worked with that I am still in contact with. In fact, just heard back from another one this last week that I hadn't talked to in years. It really does bring you together on a common ground, and that's amazing. I love that I can go to Silver Dollar City, and I still see people I know that I worked with, and I also see new people that, because they know who I am and I know what they're doing, we immediately have a foundation for a friendship built up because of those common experiences. That's just wonderful in a way that I really haven't had at a lot of other jobs. There's been a couple, but that was huge at the theme parks. But that, again, was also in some ways an extra. It was a major extra that I carry with me all these years forward. But it wasn't something I thought about when I started working at the parks. It wasn't an expectation I had. But what I did have, what drew me in, I love being the part of having a role in a fantasy. Disney essentially presents itself as a big production, like a big play, that the people coming into the park are the audience, but they get to have an active role in the play as well. That's why they use the terms cast member and on stage and backstage and things like that. And having that opportunity to have a role and play in that was amazing. I found in high school and college I had a love for drama. It allowed me to kind of get over my shyness, my awkwardness with people, that if I'm suddenly in a role, if I'm playing something else, it's much easier for me. Whereas if I'm just me, I feel much more awkward. The theme parks allowed me to kind of do that, to use the drama side of me and step out. I'm not just George, I'm a safari driver in Africa letting you see the animals. I'm not just George, I'm this member of this fantasy realm at Walt Disney World that is just amazing. Or I'm a train robber and a conductor in the 1880s. It allowed the drama part of me to come out, to play this fantasy, to dress up in costume, to play a role, and then to get the audience involved. I love that part of it. It was huge for me to be able to step out and to take the positives of my personality and apply it to that and really kind of ignore the negatives for the most part. In that same capacity, it also allowed me to not just be that, but to go beyond that, especially when dealing with the guests. The people coming into the park, it allowed me to do things to make their day special. Yes, their day should hopefully already be special just being there. But when you see somebody smiling, when you see somebody greeting you, when you see somebody happy, when you see somebody teasing and joking, it allowed me to use my personality to draw them in and to accent and build upon their day. Sometimes it meant just capturing their day, in particular with the characters. I got to basically sit back and take pictures of them having these incredible magical moments and take part that way. Sometimes it meant me interacting with the character and with the guest to help add to it. A lot of times with characters in particular, it meant me just kind of stepping back and making sure I grabbed the photos as the magic happened. And to be a witness to these amazing moments that they got to experience. I wouldn't trade that for anything. But there were a lot of times, too, where I didn't just get to witness the moment. I helped create that moment. To see a need, to see an opportunity, and to be able to step in and say, okay, let's not just settle for what we can have. Let's go beyond that. Disney called it creating magical moments. Silver Dollar City, it's making memories worth repeating. Yes, they've got little slogans, but it reinforces that opportunity to look for an opportunity and do something not expected that makes it even better. I absolutely love that. To use my sense of humor and my creativity, and I'm not always the most creative person, but when it comes to things like that, I can be. To crack a joke maybe, just to add a smile on their face. I love that as conductors, we got to be slightly obnoxious, and we got people laughing constantly using the stupid one-liners that we did. We were known for it. Now, unfortunately, they don't do it as much. I think it's kind of sad, but we had the opportunity to use even just humor, whether it was a rhino rally driving around cracking dumb jokes, whether it was greeting people with silly comments as they came into the parks at Disney. Hey, your sandal's untied. You'd be surprised how many people look down at their sandals to see if they're tied. When you see sports teams and teasing them about who they like and who they don't like, and Gap in particular was fun. Hey, buddy, you got a Gap on your shirt. Huh? What? Goofy stuff, but it would bring smiles and let people know they were welcome. But then there were those opportunities to go beyond just the little things like that. When you saw a need, when you could see people that were having a bad moment or needed some help or something was not going right, and the opportunity to be able to step up into those to, at that point, really create magic. Wow, you've had an issue with the child and you need clothes. Or maybe there was a family fight. Hey, maybe I can step in and help bring a little bit of happiness to this. At Silver Dollar City, you see somebody that's really hurting. They've got a sick family member, and the ability to step out in a safe moment and say, hey, I can pray with you. Let me pray for you. Let me pray for your family member. Let me try to give you a little bit of comfort at a rough time. Even something like a spilled drink. Let me get you another drink. Let me get you a balloon. I love that in particular at Disney and Silver Dollar City, I was given those opportunities to step out to do something extra and beyond and help make their day. Disney discouraged the prayer, which I completely understand. That was within the policies. I knew it. And so the rare times I would offer that at Disney, it was very carefully, very in tune with what I had discerned from the guests in conversation and stuff. And definitely not pushy. Silver Dollar City, we were able to be a little bit more blatant about it. But it was one of those where you see somebody that's hurting. You see somebody that's in need. And what can I do? If I can do something here in the park to help, I will. But if it's something beyond what I can do, I can let you know I care. I can let you know I'm concerned. And to be able, really, to use my faith in that regard, to step out and say, hey, what can I do to help you? if nothing else, let me just let you know that somebody's caring about you, somebody's concerned for you, your family, the issues you're having. I care. Let me pray. Most of what I did at the parks was motivated by my faith. How can I bless somebody? How can I encourage them? How can I make this an incredible, special moment? How can I let them know that it's not about us getting money? All too often, that's what it turns into, and it's something that's frustrated me with Disney in particular lately. Because it should be, how can we make this an incredible moment, an incredible memory, and something that you want to come back and do again? Because that's where the magic happens. That was the thing I loved the most about being a cast member, a citizen at Silver Dollar City, that we had those opportunities to create moments where they'd want to repeat it because it wasn't normal. It was not the basic expectation. It was beyond that. It was special. And I love being able to make things special. I love being able to let people know they're special because they are. Everybody is. We forget that sometimes. We all too often let our differences get in the way, and we need to stop focusing on differences. Learn from the differences, listen to the differences, but love people when they're different, because their differences will help make us better. Sorry, didn't expect that in there, but this holiday season, let's remember people who don't fit in our bubble, and let's do something special for them. Let's make some magic. As cast members, as theme park employees are trained to do, let's go outside of our bubble and let's make some magic this holiday season. Did I miss something? Is there other things you think were great about working at the parks? I'd love to hear it below. What are some ideas for making magic? Simple things that you can do, like paying for that drive-thru order for the person behind you, or other ways that you can bless other people. Love to hear that too. Simple acts, random acts of kindness. Share them in the comments. Let's encourage each other and find ways that we can help build each other up. Thank you so much for liking, sharing, subscribing if you haven't. Be sure to hit that bell notification. People aren't getting notified all the time if they don't hit the bell, so hit the bell. I also want to give a huge shout out to my patrons, my financial supporters, my YouTube members. They keep me afloat, they keep me going, they encourage me in so many ways, and I hope I encourage them. They get a number of perks as well, so be sure to check the description if you want more information there. And a huge shout out to Spudboy, my brand new patron as well. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. So it made it much, yeah. So at the point I'm saying it's much easier, I can't talk. And in that same moment, no, 10 years is not a moment. When you saw, yeah, just stuttered. Did I miss something? Do you think there's other reasons that cast members, blah, blah, blah. All right. I feel pretty good about that one. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.